Hi chaps, MOP here from Beard, Biceps and Batchat. Today I'm bringing you some gameplay from Tier 10 in Swamps in my E5, sorry. I'm platooned up with a couple of guys from EXP. We have Hooded in his Conqueror, Mark Hicks in his OBJ268, and we have Cowboy in his Chieftain. Now the reason we've gone for that makeup for this platoon is we wanted two aggressive push tanks in the E5 and the Chieftain, and we wanted some TD and RT support in the form of the 268 and the Conqueror. Now, originally, I was planning on letting you guys hear the party chat from this game, but after listening back to it and reviewing it, I decided it wasn't a good idea. There's some phrases and sentences on there that aren't YouTube friendly, and I'd prefer not to put a rating on the video, which is a bit of a shame because a lot of the guys in EXP have got a lot of knowledge. There's always little tidbits going around, and there's updates on the battle and what's going on that you guys would find potentially fairly useful. So what I'm going to look to do in future is to tone back my R-ratedness in party chat, so you guys can listen into that audio. And hopefully it'll help improve your gameplay. It certainly helps me improve mine. So what me and Cowboy are doing at the moment is pushing to the castle on J234, and we have Mark supporting his 268. Now he's sitting on the hill on D4. The reason he's sat there is he can get shots into the tanks that are creeping up to us or being a little bit cheeky trying to get to the castle. Currently their team's deployed on the left hand side. We've noticed they've got a couple of reds that could be a little bit problematic as we climb the slope to the castle, but apart from that we actually don't know where the rest of their team is, so we've got to be a little bit cautious as we go around it, as this is a hot spot on the map, so we've got to make sure we're not ambushed by anything cheeky. So we spot two tanks. We've got an E1 in a fairly good flanking position at the minute if he's supported and we have, I think it's an M103. Now, I've left myself in a pretty daft position in that I'm getting flanking shots put into me from all the TDs that we had spotted earlier. So we're going to put shots into this E1, try and take him out. Ideally, we don't really want to stay in this position too long. They've got two RTs on their team. I'm a big tank. If I'm staying static, there's not too much I can do to avoid being hit by him. So they've got a bit of a naughty 75 who's poked his head around a little too aggressively. And we notice we're a little bit outnumbered at this point by they've got 4 tanks to just me and Cowboy and his Chieftain. Cowboy isn't in the best position just because the hull armor on the Chieftain isn't superb, but he's doing a better job than that E75 who is side scraping in the most ridiculous manner possible. He's not side scraping enough, he's exposing his entire side to me. He's not enough at an angle for me not to penetrate. I'm pretty much on auto penetrate. It's a flat surface. You do not want that with an E75. I'll just go through every single time. So after taking out that E1, we have to prioritise our targets a little bit. The E75, well, a normal E75 apart from this guy driving it, should be quite deadly in this situation, and they really should be looking at rushing us. Now we've got rid of the E1 that was flanking us. All we need to do is sort of take these tanks out one at a time and take our time. We just need to prevent them from rushing us, which is what they should have done when they had us outnumbered 2-1. So even though they've got E100 there as well, all we need to do is sort of keep our cool, track him, put shots into his lower plate, and just make sure he doesn't get ballsy and push round and rush us. If we can do that, we're fairly safe. Now Cowboy's doing a great job there, just showing himself to them. He's literally trading HP at this point to keep them in place, to keep them enticed and in that corner. If they're happy getting shots into his side, they're not going to push around and overrun us. Now that's paid off quite well for us, where we've managed to overcome all 4 tanks and just leave a graveyard of tanks behind us, where we can push on and help the rest of our team. Now what's quite interesting at this point is you'll notice essentially they're set up in a pocket, the red team, where they're looking to defend against our 3 prongs. So we've got an attack going down F5, which is Mark Hicks and his 268. We've got tanks going down the 7-8 line, and then we have me and Cowboy going in from the JK line. Now ideally at this point I'd like to be getting shots into the back of tanks that are facing the other guys. That just isn't possible. So I've got to be a little bit cautious. I'm a one hit. I'm bouncing shots. I'm getting very lucky. In fact, I've had a couple of bounces this game, which were fairly lucky. So potentially I should be snapshotting here rather than aiming in. But what I want to do is, at this point in the game, is just make sure I'm keeping my gun active and effective at the same time, because they can still pull back even though they're enveloped. Now, I want everyone to keep an eye on the light tank pushing towards our arty. I've got a bit of a fun story from that we got from the hooded midway through the game. So we've done quite a lot of damage to the enemy tanks that were sat in that little pocket. We've got an even number of tanks, maybe they've got one more. And they've sort of dealt with the tanks that were pushing on them, except for just me. No, Cowboy's gone down somewhere, apart from myself. So I've got to be quite aggressive here and make sure I've got their attention on me. Now you'll notice their light tank's just taken out one arty. He's actually circling the hooded right now. Now what actually happened is the hooded is getting ready to do a shotgun on this light tank. He drowns himself. He just dies and drowns himself. So I'm taking out this 268, or at least trying to track him. I notice I'm a one hit. I'm right in front of him. His reload's coming up, and I get very, very lucky when that happens. And he dies. He gets ammo racked and taken out. So we're in a clean-up mode in this game already, which is quite good. I've been a one hit for a little while. I've been a little bit lucky. We've got quite a lot of penetrations, quite a lot of hits this game. But one of the main things I want people to take from this game is, if you're side scraping in an E75, do not leave a flat surface, because it just completely defeats the object and you're doing nothing, especially if you're not taking shots. I'm sort of messed around with the idea of scheduling a platoon, maybe once or twice a week, where we could have people from who watch the channel come in, play a couple of games, record it, and just see what you guys think playing together. I think it could be quite fun. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on it, so let me know below. I hope you liked and enjoyed it, chat, please.